As much as I commend Qatar Airways for the onboard product they offer, just about everything else about the airline is incomplete. And that includes their loyalty program. Qatar Airways has just introduced a massive devaluation to their award chart, and they provided exactly zero notice of these changes. Several days ago, I wrote about how Qatar Airways is adding a new booking fee to award tickets. Specifically, as of May 27, 2017, Privilege Club is adding a $25, $50, or $75 booking fee per one-way award ticket in economy, business, or first class. Given that you can exclusively book award tickets on their website, this is a very clear money grab. As it turns out, this is only the beginning of negative Privilege Club changes. Qatar Airways said that they'd be making some changes to their points earning and redemption structure, but they didn't actually provide any details of what those changes would look like. Instead, they said we could see on May 27th, when the changes go live. Well, it's May 27th, and these changes are not pretty at all. Vast majority of redemption rates, in both economy and premium cabins, have gone up significantly. They didn't give us a preview of what the changes would look like, and really they emphasized more that there would be changes to the number of points earned, rather than big changes to redemption rates. Even now there's not an A before and after comparison of rates. Rather, there's the Q calculator that shows the new redemption rates, but you can't compare that to the old rates. Just to give a few examples, a one-way economy award ticket from the US to Doha used to cost 35,000 miles, and now costs 50,750 miles. A one-way business class award ticket from the US to Doha used to cost 70,000 miles, and now costs 101,500 miles. A one-way business class award ticket from Frankfurt to Doha to Kuala Lahore used to cost 75,000 miles, and now costs 125,500 miles. A one-way business class award ticket from Bangkok to Doha to New York used to cost 95,000 miles, and now costs 169,000 miles. Qatar Airways A350 business class with a massive devaluation, especially when you consider that they're adding on a redemption fee on top of that. Talk about adding insult to injury. Interestingly, Qatar Airways' distance-based partner award chart, which they actually publish, remains the same as before, meaning that at this point long-haul partner redemptions will almost always be less expensive than redeeming directly on Qatar Airways, which is some interesting logic. Want to fly Frankfurt to Hong Kong round trip on Qatar Airways? That will cost you 251,000 miles round trip in business class. Meanwhile, flying Cathay Pacific will cost you 170,000 miles. Bottom line, as I said at the beginning of the post, I give Qatar Airways a lot of credit for their onboard product. They have the passenger experience down to a science to an extent I haven't seen at any other airline. However, everything else about the airline seems like a huge mess, including this. I know Qatar Airways is in a rough financial situation, but the solution isn't to destroy the value in their loyalty program. The irony here is that they greatly increased redemption rates on their own flights, and at this point it's cheaper to redeem on partner airlines. Similarly, there are lots of other loyalty programs Qatar Airways frequent flyers can credit to, so by encouraging that, they're losing a lot of loyalty certain passengers will feel towards them, not to mention they'll have to pay partner programs for those miles, rather than award their own miles. Let's keep in mind that this is only their latest negative change to the loyalty program, as earlier this year they eliminated lounge access on tickets upgraded with miles, which is an unprecedented move. Qatar Airways no longer offers lounge access on upgraded tickets. Also interesting is that the guy who ran Qatar's loyalty program seems to have quit in March and move on to a role at a different company, so this makes me wonder who is behind all of these changes. Page 2. I frequently commend the Gulf carriers for their superior onboard products, excellent service, and attractive fares. However, I've also long said that they leave so much on the table with their subpar loyalty programs. It makes no sense to me. Qatar Airways Q Suites business class. If there's one region in the world that would benefit from world-class loyalty programs, it's the Gulf. Much of their traffic is low yield, given how cheap their fares are. While lots of people generally like flying with the Gulf carriers, many people aren't loyal to one specific Gulf carrier, because there's not really a I don't consider Etihad Gas to be a good program, which should give you a sense of how I feel about the other two programs. I just don't think Privilege Club gets it. Program was bad to begin with, but recently got even worse. In February they eliminated lounge access for those upgrading, while they continue to award lounge access for those on award tickets, given Privilege Club's outrageously high upgrade costs, often more than an outright award ticket through American Awe Advantage. This just seems punitive. In March they moved their loyalty program completely online. They don't have a contact center through which they provide any sort of loyalty program support anymore. Qatar Airways Al Morjan Lounge Doha. Now the program is back with its latest negative change. As of May 27, 2018, Qatar Airways Privileges Club is introducing a new redemption booking fee. Specifically, they're charging $25, $50, or $75 per award sector in economy, business, or first, respectively. On principle, this fee irks me more than just about anything else a loyalty program could do. Do I like carrier-imposed surcharges, aka fuel surcharges? Absolutely not. I hate them, but at least they're tied to the cost of something also charged on revenue bookings do. Like ticketing fees for booking by phone, or for booking a partner redemption? Absolutely not, but I get the concept of it. Qatar Airways A320, but here they're charging a fee for the privilege of redeeming miles on their own flights through their own website. That's just plain absurd, and is a pathetic way for them to try and increase revenue. The whole point of miles is that they're supposed to feel like a reward, and when you charge a fee just because you can, and one that doesn't reflect a cost incurred, and doesn't reflect something that would be charged on a revenue ticket, that's pretty low. I know Qatar Airways is in a bad financial situation, but it almost seems like they're taking an Etihad-esque approach, and trying to cut their way out of losses. A loyalty program should be used to increase customer engagement with a little bit of investment, rather than a way to nickel and dime people with fees. Qatar Airways has also announced that they're revising their Q points earning structure as of that date, though the details haven't yet been revealed. This is their equivalent of elite qualifying miles, and you can expect these changes to follow the general industry trend. They'll award more points on more expensive tickets, and fewer points on cheaper tickets. Bottom line, personally I'm not impacted by this because I don't collect miles with Qatar Airways Privilege Club, and don't recommend others do either. However, I can't really wrap my head around what they're thinking here. Qatar Airways already has the worst loyalty program of the big three Gulf carriers, and in my opinion it only keeps getting worse.